Wacky Wonderland Wallop, a 3D platformer for the ages, game of the year, greatest game of all time, the game. I hate it already. Not much in the way of options, just Family Guy. And clicking that option doesn't even do anything in-game. It just opens your browser to a YouTube page for Peter's first fight with the giant chicken. Because if there's one game you want accessing your PC's browser, it's Wacky Wonderland Wallop, a 3D platformer for the ages, game of the year, greatest game of all time, the game. Last time I say that full title. Start the game, there's a character creation screen that has 0 options except a slider to add cheap spherical boobs. I haven't started the game yet, and I dread the unbridled cringe this thing has in store. You spawn into a tutorial world. Hello, welcome to my game. I worked very hard on it. Press E for next dialogue. Sorry I did not put much effort into this. And being a Steam meme game of the 2020s, of course the text is deliberately riddled with typos. A bit that stops being funny about 20 years ago. It's not much of a tutorial. Move with WASD, run with Shift, push T to view a list of available quests, and push R to teleport. Yeah, the developer couldn't be asked to actually wall off any of the levels or program pits, so if you fall, you can just press R to warp back to the level geometry. You can tell the dev didn't playtest using the teleportation for anything else, because spamming the key leaves a mass of your own decomposing corpses clogging up the level for the rest of your play session. But enough about that, or the fact that your character only sporadically actually touches the ground as you move. Let's get on with the game. We start with a flashback stage where everything's black and white, and you have to fight a giant monster over barely legally distinct Godzilla music. I have no idea how to damage this thing. I have no weapon, and all I can do is run around phasing through all the solid walls. They couldn't be arsed to code the entire map of the first freaking level. But luckily I found an NPC to explain how this works. It's Steamboat Willie. Get it? Because Steamboat Willie became public domain and now all the kids love their dank Steamboat Willie memes? This is the lasting damage of Friedberg and Seltzer, an entire generation raised to think that recognizing a thing counts as comedy. You need to take the sword and smash open boxes to get pipes, then take those pipes to the crafting table and build a weapon. Why the game didn't just spawn you facing the guide characters, I can only assume because the game hates you. The problem is that once you bust open a box, the monster fills the level with shockwaves that kill you in seconds. You have to memorize the layout enough to only hit the crates closest to the table, and you have to finish quickly. But after a lot of painful trial and error, I finally died? Yeah, the game keeps going on in the background of cutscenes. You're expected to continue avoiding damage and dodging attacks while the camera focuses on a hot air balloon. What the ass? Anyway, you unleash a giant egg monster and you have to stop it. And the egg monster's name is Bill Gates. So next you're taken to the city map, which is basically the game's overworld. And I hate this place with every fiber of my being. It's full of NPCs that do absolutely nothing but spout insipid text. Over half the world is blocked off by a sniper and a wall of people, and I ran laps all over the damn place trying to figure out where to go. I found a quest where a carbon monoxide truther tells you to go to a party in his apartment, and I found the place, everyone's dead, har har, and I completed the quest, but nothing happened. I didn't get shit for rewards. Why even waste time with quests that don't do anything? I ran around for 27 minutes trying to figure out where to go, and right when I was a hair from rage quitting, I stumbled across the first level entrance by random ass luck. Talking to the guy who spawns the entrance makes the map's waypoint marker vanish, so I was left alone to find a needle in a haystack. You can barely count on the minimap for jack squat. The only other help you're given to find this entrance is to look for the mansion guy. That's not a mansion guy, that's an orc. A cheap mobile game asset of an orc. You're taken to a tiny world where you have to get inside a locked house with a teleportation staff. It's a cool mechanic, but you're introduced to this staff by testing it on a spring that's 2 feet away. So I couldn't tell what it did. I might have figured it out sooner if the tutorial text hadn't gone off the bottom of the screen. Whatever, I've got coins. Coins open new levels. Now I can start accessing new stages. We'll start with the farm, and the farm is a waking nightmare. You're supposed to plant and water some seeds in a patch to create plants. Zombies then bust through a gate and destroy the plants, and you lose. The only weapon you get to destroy the zombies is a machine gun, and it barely does crap. I find some rocks and some wood, and I take it to the crafting table, but it won't let me build anything, because the stupid-ass game never gives you any crafting recipes to explain how to build anything. Eventually, I get a hint that I need to use towers, but where do the damn towers come from? I can set logs on the ground to create fires, but the fires don't do anything. I am so sick of never knowing what in the hell is going on! And the hints point out that you keep your inventory when you die, and that's on purpose. Yeah, you couldn't design actual difficulty, so you nerfed death instead. Congrats! I figured out on my own that you can craft towers with 1 rock and 3 wood. Obvious, right? Then you set the towers down and they shoot the zombies while you shoot the monoliths that spawn the zombies. And farming the resources to do all this requires dying over and over again, meaning this simple quest took me well over half an hour of guesswork and grinding. Apparently this entire map is an homage to the game Plants vs. Zombies. Yeah, cute, that's real precious right there. Just one little problem. I've never played Plants vs. Zombies! I don't know your thought process, douchebag! I swear this developer built this entire busted enterprise to where it makes sense to him and nobody else. If you're wondering what caliber of humor we have in the city, it's pretty much nothing but oblique political references. There's a giant bug who says that people are racist against him for being Jewish. There are multiple cops who all say that they're racist and they do police brutality. Few references to Palestine and the Middle East, references to Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren is here for some reason, all while you can feel the dev patting themselves on the back for having political commentary. This game feels like it was written entirely out of inside jokes from a Roblox server. There's also a level for prizes and items that's completely empty. The dev says that they're hoping to add bonus stuff here, but at time of playing, the game's been out for 18 months and hasn't been updated for 17 months. And the game has a pathetic 35 reviews and no active discussions. Yeah, this ain't getting updates. The game does have collectibles that appear to do absolutely nothing, and the collectibles are those stupid-ass monkey drawings that were the face of NFTs, providing more value to society here than they ever have in real life. Next, there's a basic platforming world where you grab apples, and now the staff lets you teleport to bumblebees. You are not told that the staff has changed its mechanics. I just logicked out that the stage would be completely unplayable if it didn't. Then there's a brief world where a tiger chases you down and you feed it by leading it to the other enemies. And just as I was going to praise the game for having 2 halfway passable and functioning levels, the tiger pinned me into a wall for a one-shot kill. Then there's a world where you fish. See, the way it works is you find an axe, cut down trees by walking into them, there is no chopping action, get wood, build a crafting sphere, then use the crafting sphere to build a fishing rod because they couldn't program being able to craft more than 1 item per resource at a crafting table. You cannot make up stupidity like this. So you get your fishing rod and you fish. See, what happens is you sit on your ass and you hope that your rod just randomly catches on something. And then you hope the thing you caught isn't randomly generated as a shark or a zombie leg. It takes some real anti-talent to make me yearn for fishing with Big the Cat. But then I find out that Steamboat Willie has his own quest for me. He wants me to get wood, make a sphere, craft a fishing rod, and get a zombie leg. All that crap that I literally just finished doing. And none of that counted. I'm stuck here until I build another sphere and get another zombie leg. Stupid piece of shit. Elizabeth Warren sends you to a spaceship world to turn the power on so that they can destroy it. You're given a flashlight, but turning on the flashlight makes enemies swamp and kill you. You might think you have to tactically use the flashlight for a stealth level, but you should know better than to expect stealth AI from this chowderhead. Turning off the light just makes them keep killing you. You just have to play the stage practically blind and learn to live with it. This was a particularly maddening round of guess how the bad game works, because even once I managed to avoid the pits, hit the lights, and run back to the start without dying, the quest would not be marked as complete. There's even a Doom Marine guy at the level entrance who you'd think would shoot the aliens for you, but he doesn't do crap. It doesn't help that the level is wildly unstable to where you can get stuck in walls, fall out of the game world, and royally screw up the textures. And this is after the game's had waves of patches. Either they gave up trying to fix this or everyone quit before now due to having some sense.
Brian, why does everything you touch turn to garbage?
It turns out you need to exit the level for stopping the aliens to be marked as complete, which is just an anomaly of game design. Mario doesn't wait until you've run your ass back to the overworld before he marks a basic quest as complete. Next is a zombie world. You run around collecting blenders while roughly 10 charging rage zombies try to crawl up your ass the entire time. And like that's not bad enough, there's an absolutely absurd number of blenders in the level, to the point you have to scour every nook and cranny in the entire map about 5 times over, whilst continually dying to the cheap enemies. The game doesn't even give you a counter to know how close you are to the end, and the mini-map is still worthless. You're just left going crazy as the damn stage refuses to end. And no, you can't fight the zombies. The dev makes certain to tell you. That's not the point of this level. Yep, just like the inventory items persisting through death, this is exactly how the dev wanted everything to play. Like Donkey Kong Dong in barely functional embarrassment. Steamboat Willie and a floating clipboard are supposed to give you hints for levels when you die a lot or get stuck. Neither of them appear in over half of the game's levels. It's not because those levels don't need hints, it's that the developer just gave up, leaving you to try and figure out his moon logic bullshit on your own. The nature world is basically a series of fetch quests for easy coins. Part of it's having to sit on ass until you catch 5 fish, and then having to cross the game world 5 times because the objective markers fail all the time and I couldn't find the dude who asked me for the fish. There's an annoying bird shooting objective. See, first you build a metal pistol out of a rat carcass and wood, and then you have to farm mushrooms for ammo. Like the game design document was written via Mad Libs. And then the gun fires in such a massive arc that hitting these birds is pure trial and error, where you have to keep quitting to farm ammo every time that you miss. This is also the level where you start to strain against an inventory that only has 6 slots, forcing you to keep throwing out stuff that you really hope you don't need to continue. The superfluous crafting and ammo farming just do wonders for the inventory management, by the way. Oh, and there's one quest in this map where a knight tells you to go kill a goblin and the goblin doesn't fight back. And then when you go to turn in the quest, the knight says, "By the way, I'm a cop and he's a minority and I just had you do police brutality." And the title of this quest is a messed up quest that says a lot about our society. I got nothing. How does one react to someone who thinks that just tapping you on the shoulder and going police brutality and running away is a self-contained joke? I mean, I owe BMC so many apologies for not thinking they were funny. Like, I get that I'm not qualified to weigh in on this topic that much, but at least when the Family Guy and the Naked Gun make police brutality jokes, there's an actual joke, as in setup, punchline.
You shot him in the name of justice.
That could literally be thousands of people.
He was white.
So you're Tony Royland's brother.
Delete your Roblox server and write some fucking jokes! There's a soccer world where you have to score 5 goals by gently pushing a ball around while NPCs try to murder you. I don't think bro knows how soccer works. You're supposed to kick the ball, and half the players shouldn't be trying to kill you. You beat this mode by figuring out how to use the game's broken code to your advantage. If the ball hits a wall, it's pretty much stuck there, and if enemies swarm on it, you just have to wait until they knock the ball over so it can respawn. 'Cause yeah, game is no good. Then there's a driving world where the graphics turn to incomprehensible pixelated garbage. Is this another obscure game shout-out? Or could the piss-ass game engine not handle driving without bursting into flames? You have to win 2 races, which is easy, but the game says there's another coin here, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I even tried phasing through all the stands and buildings. Oh, now I get it. This is a reference to Big Rigs, because I'm totally sure that all this was on purpose. Winning a race gets you a car to use in the overworld, which again makes the graphics incomprehensible whenever it's used. Okay, I think we can narrow down how this game was made. What open source game engine just dies the second that you add vehicles to it? Next, I found a castle map where you have to fight a gauntlet of enemies with a gun that shoots mushrooms and exploding hamburgers, both of which you have to farm before you can start the fights. You have several minutes of busy work to get equipped before the actual arena starts. Just putting this out there, literally nothing was stopping the dev from just spawning you with a loaded weapon. Unless they couldn't figure out how, because they're incompetent. And then the final boss of the castle world is Hillary Clinton. In a game that officially left beta for full release in 2024. Oh! Dude, any meme value that Hillary Clinton had was not just dead, but fossilized by 2024. She hadn't been involved in politics for years, which kind of begs the question, of all the so-called edgy references to politics that try and look cool and dangerous and hip, for a game that keeps proclaiming that it has so much to say about society, where's Pumpkin Face? You know, the Cheeto Bandito, the man for all treasons, the Count of Mostly Crisco, the guy who's adamantly refused to stop being the center of global politics for a decade now? I played most of the game and Tangerine Palpatine never shows up. I don't think he's even mentioned a single time. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Warren and Bill Gates appear in person with dubious quests, and Hillary Clinton is a boss fight. What, you love half-heartedly mining systemic racial abuse and geopolitical conflicts for sad attempts at comedy, but you draw the line at Mar-a-Lardo? Yeah, you're totally not a complete coward or a fraud. You're on the cutting edge of comedy, my dude. Nothing says transgressive and dangerous like dredging up a politician who hasn't been relevant for 8 years. How about for an encore we fight Sarah Palin? That might get some guffaws from the Dead Meme Society. Anyway, you just run in circles while Clinton spawns enemies, and it took me too long to figure out that shooting her in the feet counts as full damage. So you can keep an eye out and avoid enemies in mid-fight. And once you finally finish the arena, your reward is nothing! Just the pleasure of playing the game. You made me do grinding for nothing? Actually, no, I take it back. There is one reward. I picked up some slime items after the fight, which don't do anything, but they marked a quest completed from a level I haven't accessed yet, given by a lady I've never met. Go on, tell me that was on purpose. Tell me that was totally on purpose, you coward! There's a Halloween map with lots of fetch quests and easy coins, plus the dev admitting they couldn't get a moving platform to stop jittering. You have to drink poison if you want to respawn because they didn't add another way to get back to the main map. And that's not me accusing the dev. They flat out state how lazy they got designing this level. Dude, admitting the map is half finished isn't clever. It's the coward's move of trying to justify failure. Although through the whole level they gush about how great the second Avatar film was, so we have further confirmation that they have no taste. Now I've got enough coins to go face the final boss in the AAA Sun Temple world. The dev admits up front that the level runs like shit, and to shut off the minimap, a thing that you are not told is possible to do at any time. You know, whenever I find a new breakage, I think back to that zombie map text of everything works just the way it was meant to. That cowardly move of pretending that the bad game design was on purpose. The Sun Temple sucks, by the way. It's so massive that it's a pain to find anything, and a multitude of the quests are outright broken. There's a quest to tag 4 fleeing knights that I did about a dozen times and it was never marked as complete. There are 2 quests to clear out a house in a time limit so short as to be virtually impossible, and the few quests that I could finish don't actually do anything. This game wasn't finished, but it's still marked as a full release. And if you go exploring the vast swaths of blatantly dead air outside of the main level, you discover that the buildings added for skybox decoration are floating in midair, as if we wouldn't notice when this chunk of the map isn't even walled off correctly. Eventually I remembered that I'm actually here to fight the final boss, and I ran to the top of the map. I found a king, who says the boss is locked off by the squire. I ran around for ages until I found the damn squire, and he tells me that I need 32 coins. So I ran around the city for several more ages looking for a cafe I'd heard about, and it gives me the last coins I need for walking into a freezer and then wandering into the woods for a jump scare. Precious. So I find back the squire, he tells me to pull a lever, and after ages of scouring the freaking map again, trying to find this freaking lever, I have spent over an hour just wandering around looking for shit! I pull it, and I get bitch slapped clean out of the map. What? Pulling the lever spawns a boss that's supposed to look like a hand, but it just looks like a giant blob. I guess no asset stores had a hand on sale that week. You need to beat this hand before you can take on the final boss, which isn't hard, except for the fact that its attacks have a solid chance of knocking you through the floor, so you have to start over. And killing this boss only gets you one key to the end game. If you die on the final boss, and you will, you have to fight Derpy Hand again. You have to farm a boss for keys if you want another crack at the ending. That's either incompetence or a deliberate dick move. And I think the game just took pity on me at some point, and I got the achievement for beating the game just by walking into the final boss arena. Locking in my answer as incompetence. The final boss hucks buildings at you, and yes, it renders the graphics hideously unstable and can make it impossible to see what you're doing, while you run around smashing boxes until the egg thing dies for some reason. I just stockpiled healing items until this fight became a cakewalk. I'm told that I got a bad ending, if you even believe this game's brain vomit text. I get told Bill Gates was arrested and charged, and I'm taken to a blank end screen with no mouse cursor. You have to Control-Alt-Delete out of the game once you've finished it. What the ass? There is a crafting table in the final arena along with 2 springs near the boss and zombies to farm materials, but what do you expect here? For me to stop at the crafting table, fidget with my inventory, build a crafting sphere, set the crafting sphere, remember what the crafting recipe was for the magic rod that was given to me once at the very start of the game and hasn't been mentioned since, farm zombies for materials, all while on a ticking clock because the boss's thrown buildings are nigh impossible to dodge? Right, I'll take my bad ending, and I bid your dumbass good day. Wacky Wonderland Wallop, that was a trip. The game at least has effort put into it with a variety of mechanics and worlds and a decent length for a cheap indie title. It has vision, warped by pot smoke as it may be, but there are so many levels that make no sense, are half-finished, or have frustrating mechanics from the game engine having to bend over backwards to do something it was not meant to do. It's too frustrating to really admire any effort that might have gone into it. This dev could actually have potential if they reined in their ambitions to something that they could plausibly build with their tools, and if they learned how to write something better than reference porn, so it'd be nice if this game became that one embarrassing project that a creator looks back on one day, but I doubt it. The game kind of screams that its creator just gave up, So I don't have high hopes of any potential being realized or anything being salvaged from the ashes.